All right, so today we have with us Raziah Roushan, who's waving. For 2 decades, Roushan has been working as a professional artist in mediums such as oil, acrylic, charcoal, pastel, aerosol, printmaking, as well as murals and large-scale chalk art. After receiving a Bachelor's of Fine Arts from the Pacific Northwest College of Art in Portland, she traveled the planet teaching, networking, and contracting for the purposes of visual art. After years of working with nonprofit agencies across the US, Roushan sought a master's degree in art administration from Savannah College of Art and Design in 2012. This continued to advance her business skills, later leading her into becoming an executive level arts administrator and freelance consultant. Some of Roushan's most notable positions held include being the chalk art chair for the chalk artist chair for Carlsbad Art Splash, the lead art instructor for Philadelphia Mural Arts Program, grant writer and Foundry Art Studios manager for New Village Arts Theater, program director for San Marcos Arts Council, director of marketing at Oceanside Museum of Art, and managing director for Heidi Duckler Dance Theater Northwest. She is currently serving as the executive director of Tualatin Valley Creates. Please welcome Raziah.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for the introduction, Amy. And I'm really delighted to be here with the Forest Grove Rotary members. So I want to keep this very casual. I'm going to tell you about our organization, Tualatin Valley Creates, and the things that we're doing and how it can intersect with the business community and the non-arts community. So feel free to ask questions and feel free to use the chat too for any of our online attendees. And with that, give me 1 second. I'm going to switch this over to show you my slides so that you can also see some links and some really great ways that you can navigate our services and the programs that we offer. So for anybody who's not already familiar with Tualatin Valley Creates, we are the leading art service organization for all of Washington County and its 600,000 plus residents, the people who work, live, and play here. We are celebrating over 20 years of being a nonprofit organization here, and we're built on the mission of really driving the development of inclusive, resilient, creative communities using arts, culture, heritage, and humanities. So that's beyond just art making. It really is the industries behind the arts and everything that connects us through all of our various cultures here in Washington County and the Tualatin Valley as a whole. I'm going to do, let's see if I can get this to change slides. There we go. One of the biggest assets that we offer to the region is our communication hub. And so for those of you who already are familiar with Tualatin Valley Creates, I hope that you check our website regularly. Our communication hub is really a clearinghouse for activities here in the area. And from the website, we have a cultural news page where we tell stories and interview artists and nonprofit leaders, and we reshare their story about every month. We have an online calendar that has over 120 activities happening by other entities or other coordinators across the region, and it's free to post on the calendar. So for the events that you guys are doing, please share that information with our calendar. We'll get it out to our e-news subscribers. We have a resources page for creatives. That's an opportunity to find calls for artists, employment in the creative sector, everything from small businesses doing marketing for small businesses or employment opportunities in some of our larger design firms. And we started doing youth arts about 2 years ago and really identifying the opportunities that our youth artists have. So productions and being on cast with some of our theater houses. The e-newsletter, we have 2 of them. One of them goes out weekly, which is everything from that online calendar comes into your inbox on Tuesday morning, hopefully before everybody wakes up. I think it gets sent out about 4:30 in the morning. So it's a great way to plan out your week with the family. And then we have a monthly arts industry e-news, which captures everything from the resource page, including grant opportunities and some highlights in the arts and culture sectors from around the state. And then our social media is by far the most active. So please follow and like us on social media, and you can see all the things that we're doing and many of the other community groups are doing here, especially in Forest Grove, Cornelius, Hillsborough. I mentioned a little bit about our creative page, our resources for creatives. And then I also want to share for you as business leaders our arts directory. And this was launched in May of 2020, and this works like a white pages. So for all of us white-haired folks, we remember the white pages. And this is a constantly growing list of artists and art service providers. So if you are looking for somebody to do a mural, or you'd like to hire a musician for a Friday night activity, or if you need a graffiti abatement person, a marketing person for a small project, that's what the directory does for you. We're already filtering them and making sure that they're credible and then putting them on our website so that you don't have to go through Craigslist looking for somebody and hoping that they show up. If you are an artist or art service provider, then a listing on the directory is only $125 for 12 months. And I'd be happy to talk to you about what that looks like, and all the marketing that we're doing with that. The other thing that TVC does, and what we're really built on for our last 20 years, is connecting and advancing the creative sectors. First and foremost, we do networking events, and right now we're holding them monthly. They are via Zoom. We will hold our first in-person one in, almost 24 months at Ridgewalker Brewery in Forest Grove. So right there, I think they're on Main and A Street. And so this is an opportunity to come and meet TVC representatives and to meet fellow artists and non-artists throughout the community. These networking events are free. We talk about TVC, what we're doing, but ultimately you can build connections and collaborations, much like you're doing here in the Rotary meeting. We also do professional development workshops, and these are things like bookkeeping for artists, bookkeeping for small entrepreneurs, how to use social media as a marketing tool, how to photograph your work if you are doing sculptures or jewelry or any other pieces that you need to catalog. And within this realm of professional development, we do what we call a creative impact workshop series, in which we partner with the cities of Beaverton and Hillsborough to really expand what those workshops look like. So for example, there's one coming up in the next couple of months that is for visual artists on how to enlarge your drawing to be a muralist, because it's hard to find opportunities to work with other muralists. So us providing a workshop in that realm is an immediate way for artists to then move into the commercial sector. And a few years ago, with the support of the Collins Foundation and a couple of other Oregon-based foundations, we launched the Arts and Culture Leadership Incubator. And this is an application process. It's about a 6-month intensive of really doing the front to the back of business learning for not only individual sole proprietor artists, but also for administrators who can then learn about networking, project management, project budget management, how to set schedules. And at the end of that incubator program, we provide them a $500 stipend. So it's free for them to be part of it. They do have to apply. They need to attend the workshops. And then we provide them a stipend so that they can carry on with the very important work that they're doing. And it is really very much for people who work and lived in Washington County to keep this talent here. I hope that you guys have gotten around and seen some of our musical benches. Our tallest musical bench that we produced a few years ago is in Forest Grove, and it's across from the Wells Fargo drive-through. I want to say also on A Street, and maybe 19th is its cross intersection by Ridgewalker. And so that was a particular project in which we received one-time capital support to produce new public works. And through working with many community partners, we decided that those new public works needed to be interactive and they needed to be functional. And it evolved into the concept of a musical bench. So it's accessible to friends in the community that might have visual impairments. It's accessible to all ages so that they can sit and relax and take in some of our Oregon natural beauty. And it's playful. Touch it. In Forest Grove, you can move the mallets and you can hear that sound many blocks away. And we have other musical benches in Cedar Mill, in Beaverton, and in Tigard. We work with private developers as well. If you're a property owner or you have a big project, we can work with you on public art initiatives, whether it's murals or sculptures, or if it's helping you find funding, looking for other grants and other ways to fund a large public art project. And then beyond that, in the community, we also produce the La Strada de Pasteli Chalk Art Festival, which has been held in Beaverton for the last 3 years. And I'm excited to announce that it will now be held in the heart of Hillsborough's Cultural Arts District on East Main Street and the flanking numbered avenues. So that is happening in July, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it as I get a couple of slides down. Another really important aspect to Tualatin Valley Creates, because we're actually a pretty small organization, we're only 2.5 full-time staff, is that we are constantly hearing from the community. We take multiple times throughout the year to do surveys. We want to hear your feedback, not only what we're doing, but also what else you're looking for in your own communities, because we attend meetings like this, and we attend city council meetings and other public art commission meetings. So we are happy to be your liaison to some of those other municipal leaders. We ask attendees to our programs, are you learning what you hope to learn? Do you want to learn something else? How else can we bring in the right presenters for the programs that we're doing? And then we also advocate for the economic impact of arts in our communities. What does it look like when you create more public art along your main street? How does that bring in outside economic activity, especially with tourism? So that's another piece that Tualatin Valley Creates is constantly doing, is really discussing the money behind the arts and the business behind the arts. Oh, sorry about that. Which is the perfect way for me to transition into the arts and economic prosperity study. So in between 2015 and 2017, Tualatin Valley Creates worked with the Americans for the Arts, which is a federal effort, and with Oregon Cultural Trust, which is here in the state of Oregon, to survey and collect data on what the arts impact is here economically and for employment. And what we found is that there's roughly $21 million circulating here in Washington County surrounding arts and culture. That is money from direct spending by nonprofit arts organizations or arts coordinators in the way that they employ staff, or they're buying materials, or they're doing stagecraft, and also the money by consumers and arts audiences in the way that they're not only buying tickets to a performance, a production, or an exhibition, but the way that they're going to restaurants and the way they're getting coffee, or they might be getting an extended stay at a local lodging facility. It's the money that they're spending to get to the intended arts activity. And what we found here in Washington County is that most people are spending $20 more than the cost of the ticket or the cost of access to whatever the programming is. In 2017, when the study was released, we found that there was more than 940 full-time jobs in the arts, in the creative sectors. And so this is really important when we're talking about business here, and we're talking about next generation designers and next generation arts advocates and curators. So I am happy to share some more of the, I would say, kind of mundane spreadsheet details with anybody if you have questions. But it was fascinating to see what that data looks like here, to really make the business behind the arts tangible. So I want to put some calls to action out to everybody today. And I'll also put these links in the chat, and hopefully all of our in-person attendees can capture those too. But a couple of ways that our Forest Groves businesses can get involved with TVC. One is through our Art Pass business program. So in fall of 2021, we launched the Art Pass program with the intention that we can help with business recovery, and that we can get our arts audiences out to our local retailers. And the Art Pass program works like if anybody's ever had to do ASB cards for the high school, or like the old-fashioned coupon books, where you give a contribution to a nonprofit organization, which opens access to discounts or perks or special things that are just for those Art Pass card holders. As a business, to sign up, there's no cost to be part of this program. And we do all the marketing, and we really do a lot of the outreach to get people to your place of business. We do ask for a 1-year commitment. Come up with something really fun that we can showcase from TVC's website, And then we are going to try and drive people to your front door. We do have a handful of businesses that don't have a brick and mortar space, but they do have ways that they interact with the public. And some of the other Forest Grove businesses that are involved are Framer's Touch, Ganbro's Printing, Green Heron Book Arts, and Ridgewalker Brewing. So you can see that there's a whole range of businesses in the Art Pass program. And I encourage you to go to the Art Pass directory, which is separate than the other directory, and see who else is part of this program, including like game shops, lots of coffee houses. And when you sign up to be a business partner in this program, we send you 2 Art Pass cards. So you can use it for yourself, or you can have them on file for your employees, and they can get out and help reconstruct and revive our economic vitality here in Washington County. The other way that I want to invite Rotary members to support and be involved with Tualatin Valley Creates is to sponsor the Strada Chalk Art Festival. You guys have a wonderful street painting festival. I absolutely adore it. It's been going on for 25 years, you know, coordinated by Valley Art Gallery there. And I just want to identify that La Strada is a different festival with many other aspects, including flying in nationally recognized chalk artists. And as most festivals go, it takes a lot of lift from the community to make these happen. So I want to invite you all to be sponsors of La Strada, and I'm happy to talk to you about what that looks like in regards to supporting community festivals and being seen to the audiences that will be attending that festival. We're doing a lot of promotion, and I'm excited to announce that we received a $5,000 marketing sponsorship from the Visitors Association, which is already putting La Strada on Travel Oregon and Travel Portland websites. So it definitely has a broad reach, and most people who come to La Strada travel from a 3-hour radius. So that will help expand your own audiences and your own customers too. So I'm going to remove all the slides so we can all see each other, and I want to be available to answer questions, not only about what Tualatin Valley Creates is doing, ways that you can get involved, but especially how we can support your businesses and what you're doing there in Forest Grove in the region.
Okay, so we could start with questions on the Zoom land, and then Bryce, you could take over if there are any questions out in the real world. Are there any questions here in the Hollywood Squares? Oh, Greg, did you have one to begin with? Yeah, you're still on mute.
It sounds like you've traveled all over, so I wondered how you ended up in this position in Tualatin Valley.
Yeah, fun story, old romance story. So I did my bachelor's at the Pacific Northwest College of Art here in Portland, and within the first couple of days, I saw this very tall, handsome man walk across the commons of the school campus, and worked a couple of ways to get into classes with him, and then worked a couple of ways to graduate in the same year of 2004. And we stayed friends for many years. And about a decade later, I finally admitted my crush. Turns out he grew up here in Beaverton. And so along all of my travels, we stayed friends. And then he finally said, I have a crush on you too. So let's see where this dating thing goes. And about 11 months later, he proposed. So that's how I came to Beaverton.
Wonderful. We have a question in the chat. How are you planning on working with the Reser Cultural Center?
Very excited about the Reser opening. So the fastest way that we are working with the Reser is making sure that all of their activities and productions are on our calendar. And then we're going to be there at their Shine a Light community celebration on Sunday, March 13th, and hoping to utilize their facilities for some of our networking events and our professional development workshops as well.
Wonderful. Do you work with the City Park and Recs Department?
Yes, in a few different ways. So for having La Strada in Hillsborough's Cultural Arts District, we're working with Nancy Nye from the Hillsborough Parks and Rec. And then we also do activities with THPRD, which has most of their, I think, facilities and park spaces in Beaverton. In Forest Grove, we work with a couple of staff when we were looking at where to place the musical bench. And so primarily through Forest Grove, I work with the Chamber and with the Forest Grove Public Arts Commission too.
All right, so we'll do it for all of our questions. And so at this time, we'll just once again thank you for your time and your commitment to arts in our region. And we hope you have a wonderful day. I think that concludes, according to Bryce, that concludes our presentation. All right.
Okay. I'll put
Thank you,
some links
everyone.
in the chat so everybody's got them. Thank you, everybody.